In 1959, during the height of the peplum craze, American actor Steve Reeves brought the character Emiliano to life in Goliath and the Barbarians. Under the guise of an animal mask and the moniker Goliath, his portrayal as a hero battling barbaric invasions reflected his extraordinary strength and towering presence. The film, originally undertaken by the Italian company La Standard Produzione S.R.L, gained significant momentum with the backing of American International Pictures, ensuring its global success. At 33, Reeves was at his charismatic peak, exuding a rugged handsomeness that set the standard for the sword and sandal genre during the 1950s and 60s, a time that idolized classical beauty and heroism. His striking appearance and robust beard not only captured the heart of the enemy's daughter, a popular plot element of that era, but also captivated audiences, establishing him as the iconic Hercules figure in cinematic history. Having won the Mr. America title in 1947, Mr. World in 1948, and Mr. Universe in 1950, Reeves' symmetrical and well-sculpted physique was essential for the physically demanding roles typical of this genre. This film showcased his exceptional build more prominently than in others. His muscular arms and pectorals, almost always displayed, and frequently shirtless. His attire was strategically torn apart in the grand final battle, leaving him shirtless at the film's climax. A plot that has become a prototype for muscular actors today. Ironically, with the Barbarian-style fur exposing much of his unique sculpted torso, he should have been easily recognizable to everyone, even when he donned an animal mask. Shirtless and alone, Emiliano was cutting wood in the forest when he suddenly found himself surrounded by a large group of fully armed barbarians. Holding a large axe and known for his combat skills, he chose not to fight, recognizing the futility against the overwhelming numbers. Instead, he surrendered, allowing them to take him to their camp for interrogation, as they suspected he might be the much-feared Goliath. During the interrogation, Emiliano momentarily tasted freedom, as he managed to break his leather bonds from the wooden beam. However, it was short-lived. Almost immediately, he was encircled by the sharp tips of spears, all converging on him simultaneously. With no avenue for escape, and facing the overwhelming threat, he was forced into another surrender. After Emiliano was captured and brought to the Barbarian camp, he underwent 3 distinct methods of bondage, each highlighting his formidable physique. The initial setup during the interrogation involved his muscular arms being stretched wide apart and secured to a sturdy wooden beam. 2 thick leather straps, tightly bound around both his wrists and further up his arms. It ensured that any movement would cause significant tension, immobilizing his muscular upper body in preparation for the ordeal ahead. For the first trial of strength and endurance, he was placed under a wooden yoke, reminiscent of those used for draft animals. Heavy ropes bound his wrists tightly to the ends of the beam, with immense pressure on his shoulders and arms. Although his sculpted torso and powerful legs could still move, albeit with resistance, challenging him to use his full strength against the uneven directional pull. The bondage in the second tug-of-war was straightforward yet visually impactful. His wrists were securely tied with sturdy ropes, each fastened to a robust horse. As the horses were whipped to charge in opposite directions, they created a relentless tension that immobilized him despite his legs being free. Caught between the powerful forces, he was either fully stretched or bending, straining against the pull with all his might, yet unable to move from the spot. Upon arrival at the Barbarian camp, Emiliano underwent a harsh interrogation to determine his identity. Stripped to the waist, and firmly secured to a wooden beam, his muscular torso was utterly exposed and vulnerable. The barbarian antagonist cruelly stabbed into the hard muscles of his abdomen, drawing a line of blood, intended to intimidate and coerce. The questioning intensified, as the beam to which he was bound was gradually rotated, mercilessly stretching his body. This brutal stretching, worsened by the fresh wound, significantly increased his suffering and tested his endurance. During the first trial, the hero faced a daunting tug-of-war. He was placed under a heavy yoke, wooden plank studded with numerous sharp spikes, directly behind him, threatening his broad back. As the initial 3 barbarians pulled, the tension escalated, threatening to impale him. At a critical moment, the spikes briefly grazed his back, causing him to wince in sharp pain. Despite the odds continually stacking against him, as more barbarians joined the pull, he was forced to rely heavily on his strong legs, enduring a seemingly unending struggle to avoid further injury. The barbarians escalated their methods after failing to subdue Emiliano in the first trial. 2 robust horses were brought in, and each end of the sturdy rope secured to his wrists was tied to one of them. The horses were then whipped, urged to run in opposite directions, threatening to pull his arms apart, tearing at his torso. Caught in the merciless torment, he endured extreme pain, as his arms were stretched to their limits, struggling intensely against the brutal force. There was also a short humiliation scene before the climactic battle. Faced with the destruction of his town and the capture of its people by barbarians, Emiliano rode alone into the barbarian camp, offering a deal to return the crown for the hostages' freedom. Immediately upon his arrival, he was brought directly before Igor, who delivered 2 harsh slaps across his face. A brutal welcome before any negotiation could begin. In all 3 pivotal scenes, 1 interrogation and 2 trials, the hero's well-sculpted physique was intentionally displayed shirtless, accentuating his ensuing struggle. His arms were stretched wide apart, showcasing his straining biceps and visibly bulging muscles. Throughout these ordeals, his magnificent chest heaved up and down under the exertion. This deliberate display of his muscular torso underscored his formidable strength and captivated all eyes on the legendary figure, presenting a visual spectacle of endurance and physicality. From the moment of his capture, through the intense interrogation and grueling trials, Emiliano's courage and heroic demeanor never wavered. His responses were marked by stoic endurance and a quiet strength that spoke volumes about his character. Even in the face of severe pain during the torture sessions, only manly grunts escaped him. This bravery was further underscored when he boldly rode alone into the barbarian camp, willing to negotiate for the freedom of his people at great personal risk. In the brutal interrogation scene, despite his wound and the torment of being racked, Emiliano demonstrated his extraordinary strength by tearing through the thick leather straps binding his arms and wrists, though he was swiftly recaptured. During the torturous tug-of-war, despite the severe and merciless challenges, his Goliath extraordinary strength allowed him to overcome the overwhelming odds and resist the pull of wild animals, ultimately surviving the trials. He stood as a single-man army against the entire barbarian force. Emiliano's capture, interrogation, and trial scenes extended for about 8 minutes, a notable length unique to the sword and sandal genre, which typically centered on heroes' physical prowess and bravery through grand battle scenes and combat. These sequences were routinely included and creatively designed to impress the audience, emphasizing the hero's resilience and adding depth to his character's journey. Unlike many of Reeves' other films, Goliath and the Barbarians features an extensive portrayal of muscles and manacles, making it a significant deviation within his filmography. This film emphasized more shirtlessness, bondage, and torment than usual, particularly through the use of barbarian costumes that highlighted these elements vividly. This not only reinforced Reeves' legacy as the king of bodybuilders and the definitive Hercules, but also cemented his status as a seminal figure in the sword and sandal genre.
Se lui avvisa gli uomini, va.
Non muoverti! Non ti conviene. Chi sei?
Un boscaiolo. Un boscaiolo, eh? Lo vedremo. Portatelo all'accampamento. Confessa! Ah, non vuoi parlare? Confessa! Forza! Girate! Vedrai che parlerà. Girate! Andiamo! Forza! Girate!
Potrebbe veramente non essere lui.
Potrebbe, ma nel dubbio io lo uccido. Attenzione voi! Fermatelo! Hai ancora dei dubbi? Uccidetelo!
Fermi! Fermi, ho detto! Indietro, tu! Che succede?
Si sospetta che sia l'uomo che stiamo cercando.
Non è un sospetto, io ne ho la certezza. Come vedi ho fatto buona caccia anch'io, mi appartiene.
Vi ha aggredito? Era armato?
No, ma la sua statura, la sua figura, la sua forza.
Conosco quest'uomo, è un pacifico boscaiolo. Mi ha aiutato alcuni giorni fa a ritrovare la strada dell'accampamento.
Parole, è mio prigioniero.
Ha ragione, il prigioniero gli appartiene.
Svevo, tu non puoi violare le nostre leggi.
Quali leggi?
Quelle che nel dubbio vengono concesse a un prigioniero. Padre, mi appello alle prove della verità.
Concedi. È giusto, concedo le prove della verità. Sosterrai la prova della fune e delle lance. Se supererai questa prova, ne sosterrai un'altra a scelta di chi ti ha catturato.
Presto, fate l'arco, fate l'arco! Indietro, ho detto! Avanti voi due! Avanti voi! Sbrigatevi, sbrigatevi! Avanti con le lance! Via! Su, dai!
Scegli la seconda prova com'è tuo diritto.
I cavalli!
I cavalli!
Su, legatelo! Legatelo bene, presto!
Portatelo qui. Io non so chi tu sia, ma i miei occhi non avevano mai assistito a un simile spettacolo di forza. Va, sei libero.
Fermatelo! È lui l'uomo che cerchiamo. Mai nessuno prima d'ora aveva superato queste prove. Dobbiamo ucciderlo.
Ora sei tu, Svevo, che tenti di violare la legge. Ho detto che sia libero e libero sia!